Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really quickly, before we jump into this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Any interaction everyone does with this video helps boost it with the algorithm, so please like, share, comment, whatever. Anything helps. Thank you guys so much for interacting and tuning in for this video. For this week's video, I have another long run training for the New York City Marathon. This time I'm running in the financial district of Manhattan, the downtown, often called FiDi. I'll go over a quick update on my performance and a quick update on some of my training and details about that. Then I'm going to spend the rest of the video talking about this area, this neighborhood in Manhattan. Just some history behind it, things to see, stuff to do, and of course, I have to include some food because, New York has some of the most amazing food, and I wanted to shout it out quick. I'm going to rate this week's run a solid 8 out of 10. Nothing crazy, nothing to be writing home about, but definitely well within my range of what I was going for. Before every workout, I look at what I'm scheduled to do that day, and I kind of set a goal in my head of what I'm trying to accomplish during that run. It could be maintaining a certain pace for a certain amount of time. It could be just getting the run done and finished with. Whatever it is, the goal for this week I hit and was pretty happy about it. The goal for this week was a bit unusual. To give you a little peek behind the curtain, I started a new diet this month. It's not a very special diet, I'm just reducing the amount of calories that I intake on a daily basis. But since I'm reducing the amount of energy that I'm intaking to my body, I really wanted to keep a gauge on my energy levels throughout this run to make sure I wasn't overdoing it and putting myself in a worse situation than I was before. These longer runs can really put wear and tear on your body, and if your body doesn't have the energy needed for it, it can be very dangerous. You can get cramps all over your body, and at worst, you can faint. And if I fainted somewhere in the middle of downtown New York, I probably would have been in a lot of trouble. So, to simplify, the goal for this week was just to maintain my energy levels throughout this run while on this lower calorie intake diet. So, the details of the run. So I ran about a total of 6.78 miles at an average pace of 12 minutes and 9 seconds for a total time of 1 hour and 22 minutes about. That's about 82 minutes in whole. And my time goal for this week's run was anywhere between 80 and 90 minutes of a run. So I did fall in between those ranges. I do think I was running a bit slower this week, but I think that's one because I wasn't pushing it super hard like I mentioned just before. I was maintaining my energy levels, but also, as you can see from the map, I started running about Midtown Manhattan all the way down, straight down to the financial district, and I did hit lights about one every couple blocks that really cut into my time. Since I was running in the middle of Manhattan, there was no way to avoid all the lights. I tried timing it out based on my pace, but that's kind of hard to do over long periods of time. I think if I did do this run along the East River, so along the coast of Manhattan, and I think it would have maintained a much higher pace. Probably not crazy fast, probably not 2 minutes faster, but probably within the 11-minute average pace, I think. Either way, I do plan next week's run to run on that East River along to the FiDi area and then probably on the west side, so we'll see when I do that run. So that's about it for the running update for this week's video. So now we can talk about the meat and potatoes of the video, the thing I wanted to talk about, and that's FiDi, or the financial district of Manhattan in New York City. When people are told to picture what New York looks like, they tend to view it from the harbor or from pictures taken from Jersey City or Brooklyn even. And those pictures that are in people's head tend to be FiDi. FiDi is actually the oldest part of Manhattan, when it was established by early Dutch settlers when they established New Amsterdam in the early 17th century. The area was chosen specifically for strategic location based on defense and trade. This area actually predates the US. With Federal Hall, located on Wall Street, this historic building was the site of George Washington's inauguration as the first president of the United States in 1789. That's just to show you kind of the time scale that we're talking about of how old this area is. I'll even quickly talk about a building that I know that's from that time period that's still standing today. You might be able to tell later in my footage that this area doesn't follow the same grid-like system that most Manhattan does and that it's known for. And that's actually because this area predates that plan that turned most of Manhattan into that grid-like system. That plan was called the Commissioner's Plan of 1811, and I don't want to go into too much detail about that plan, but this area is so old that most of its streets were based off the natural environment. That's why they're a lot more turny and curvy and a little bit more confusing in my opinion. Basically, the reason why this area is called the Financial District is because it's home to the New York Stock Exchange, on top of a ton of other businesses and financial institutes that are in the area, like the World Trade Center. Fun fact, I used to actually work down here in FiDi, and I actually loved working down here. There were a lot of places that had good lunch specials around the area, so I could always jump out of my work for a quick little bite to eat, and get just about any type of food that I wanted that week. So, if you're ever in FiDi, I figured I'd list some fun things you can do in the area. There's plenty of things to do around here, so no way take this list as an exhaustive list, just the first few things that I thought of off the top of my head. Honestly, you guys probably know a few of these yourselves. They're very famous. Also, stick around to the end. I'll talk about 2 restaurants that I love in the area that you should stop in for a quick bite if you're in the area. Very yummy, one kind of cheap and one kind of more expensive, but both very good and both very worth it. Starting off, of course, with one of New York's most famous landmarks, and that's the Statue of Liberty. Now, you're probably thinking, the Statue of Liberty is not in FiDi, and yes, I know that. But the ferry that you take to get to the Statue of Liberty, and also Ellis Island, is in FiDi. To take that ferry, just head down to Battery Park, which is located at the tip of Manhattan, right at the bottom of FiDi. You can get there by taking the 1 train, which I think is the closest, and getting off at the South Ferry Station, or the 405 train, which gets you to Bowling Green, which is still a very short walk to that ferry. I feel like the Statue of Liberty is a must at least once in your life. It's very iconic for New York as well as the US in general. So if you ever get a chance, I think now they're letting people go up to the Crown too. So now's a time more than ever to go visit the Statue of Liberty. Probably just sitting after the Statue of Liberty in terms of iconic landmarks is the World Trade Center and Ground Zero. Ground Zero, of course, is where the old World Trade Center building stood before they were sadly taken out due to the terror attacks of 9/11. The city has built a beautiful memorial in the location of where the towers used to stand, as well as honor the names of all the fallen victims of those terror attacks. They also have a very interesting museum there where you can learn all about the terror attacks and the state of the world at that time. But while you're also in that location, don't forget to check out the new World Trade Center, which is just an absolute gorgeous building. One of my favorite of the New York skyline, and probably one of the tallest too. I have actually been lucky to have been in that tower twice, and I have to say the view from up there is amazing. This next suggestion I'd probably never do myself, but I figured I'd talk about it since I did capture some footage of it. And that's the helicopter tours that you can take around the city. I don't have a ton of information on these since 1, I've never done them, and 2, I'm sure you can just look them up on Google and see how much they cost and everything like that. But I do see them all the time flying above the city, probably having fantastic views of the city. But again, do this one at your own risk because I don't know, I don't trust helicopters that much, but that might be a personal thing. Really quickly, before I talk about the 2 restaurants that I had mentioned earlier in the video, I want to give a quick shout out and acknowledge the New York Roadrunners and their Team for Kids program. If you've watched any of my other videos, you may know that I'm running the New York City Marathon as part of the Team for Kids program. New York Roadrunners provides fitness programs to help kids stay active, learn discipline, and lead healthier lives. Your donations make these programs possible, giving kids the opportunity to thrive. If you have a minute, please click the link in the description or scan the QR code to learn more about this program and this amazing organization that runs it. Every donation means so much to this program and makes a true difference in these kids' lives. I want to thank you all again for watching this video. Again, a quick reminder to please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and truly thank you. Okay, so back to the restaurants. Now, it wouldn't be New York if I didn't suggest at least one pizza shop to go to. And it might be a bit of a cliche if you ask other New Yorkers, but I have to highly recommend you going to Joe's Pizza at the cross streets of Fulton and Nassau. This pizza shop is a classic in my opinion, and you don't easily become a cliche unless you actually earn it and you have some truth behind it. Joe's Pizza is fantastic, and I think it's the most standard pizza you can get in New York. Oftentimes when you go here during lunch, you'll see lines wrap around the block waiting to get a slice. You might also know this pizza shop as where Peter Parker worked in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2. So it's a super famous shop. A ton of celebrities have gone here. Very, very good. As far as upper scale restaurants go, I have to suggest France's Tavern, which is located close to the cross street of Pearl Street and Broad Street. This tavern is actually a historical monument here in New York City. It's so old, it's actually where General Washington took most of his officers after the Revolutionary War. So if you want to stop in for a quick drink just like our forefathers, I highly suggest it. Also, the American cuisine here is fantastic, and I bet anyone would find something here that they'd love to try. This place is a bit expensive, so I wouldn't suggest it as just a casual lunch, but definitely if you're celebrating something amazing, I would highly suggest this restaurant. That's going to wrap it up for this week's video. Thank you everyone so much for watching all the way through. Please, if you have any video ideas or suggestions on where I should run, let me know in the comments below. I'll definitely try to make that happen. Also, if you've ever been to FiDi and have any other suggestions for me, also let me know in the comments. Again, a quick reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And shout out to my other socials, Macho Marathon Man. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and of course here on YouTube. Thank you again everyone. See everyone next week. Bye.